How do I teach my rescue dog the commands no and stop? So I'm going to tell you the way that I use the word no. So no is my general word that I use for you've made a mistake. Okay. So as far as no, no is basically a blanket cue that I use to tell the dog that what you're doing at that moment isn't what I want you to do. So it doesn't need to, when I associate no and teach no, I say no, and I generally follow that with some kind of leash pressure or possibly remote collar pressure if I was going to do that. Now, the word stop is a little bit more serious for me when I teach a dog, and I only use the word stop at the boundaries where the dog would have access to a street that has cars. So at the front door, at the garage, and any of the side gates that are leaving my yard. If I'm at those, what ends up happening with the dog, the way that I prefer to teach it, is I keep my leash very slack, and then when the dog crosses the boundary of the door, I say the word stop, and then I like to use the remote collar at a higher level to tell them that there is a very firm boundary for crossing the door without permission. And we do this to keep the dog safe from running into the street. It is a pretty effective way to train a dog to not bolt out the front door. The problem that most people have with teaching the stop command is a lot of people like to give obedience commands like sit or stay prior to opening the door and setting the dog up for the stop situation. So that's one of the mistakes. The other mistake that people make when they're teaching the stop command is that they actually have the leash very tight, preventing the dog from crossing the threshold. So you got to keep the leash slack, let the dog cross the threshold, and then on the other side of that, that's when it would go tight and firm once until the dog came back into the threshold of the area you want them to be in.